All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And our good friend David Arthur Long was in kind of for a surprise visit for us. We didn't have it on the calendar. Well, Adriana did tell us he was coming in. And we did a dinner with Valentino's, and they pretty much sold it themselves. So that's why the folks that are going, why didn't we get to see that on the calendar events? So they got a really small room in the back at Valentino's to do events, and only 18 people can fit in there. And so they felt like they didn't need us to sell the event, and they didn't. And, they didn't get to sit in the back room at Valentino's. They kind of did the dinner out front. And I arrived at the end after my Cabernet tasting at the Edge, just to, say hello to David again after he stopped in the store to taste me on the new releases anyways. But I wanted to just hang out with him a little while. We kind of hit it off the first time at our event at New River Art Gallery, and he walked in the store, gave me a big hug. He said, "Andrew, man, I love your show. I love to watch you talk about wine. Man, you do such a great job." And I said, "Wow, we've got fans in wine country. That is great." And, famous fans as well. The Long family has been around for a long time. His father bought the property in the 60s. They started clearing it in 1978. And Dave and his brothers and his dad planted, the grapes. And then the first vintage was 1985. It was Chardonnay. A couple years later, the Cabernet came. And these guys have been making some of the best wine up on Pritchard Hill ever since. I think they have about 1,000 acres up there. 20-something acres planted. A really small amount of vines when you look at the amount of wines these guys produce. I mean, just a few hundred cases of most of their cuvee, 1,000 cases, maybe of the Meritaggio, 800 and something, but really outstanding wines. This is one of the best vineyard sites in all of Napa Valley. Some of his neighbors, the Chapelets are up there, Bryant, Colgan, Tim Mondavi with his Continuum, and many of these wines are, in the several $100s a bottle range, and, David's just such a fun guy. He could probably sell everything direct on his mailing list. You can just feel the love when this man is in the room. He hugs everybody, kisses everybody, and makes great wine. Such a fun guy to be around. Like I said, we're happy to know him. And the first wine, we had the Meritaggio. These guys, kind of funny story, how they created this wine. They were blending, and they decided they had a Cabernet blend they were working on and didn't have any Malbec in it. And a friend of his had sent him some samples of Sangiovese, and these guys had been drinking. Imagine that also. So they decided, hey, man, let's just pop this Sangiovese up. See what it tastes like in our Cabernet blend. You can put the peanut butter in my chocolate. And they said, man, this is really good. So they got a couple acres of Sangiovese now up there with the Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and other varietals. They do some Chardonnay and some Sauvignon Blanc. All their wines are outstanding. The Sauvignon Blanc Chardonnay not available, unfortunately. But the Meritaggio is, and they just make, like I said, 839 cases of this annually. A good amount of dark cherry and currant berry fruit. Really nicely toasted oak spice to this wine as well. Dark chocolate, some fresh earth, fine herbs here. You really do notice that freshness of the Sangiovese, which it brings to the Cabernet Sauvignon. On the finish in this wine, lovely length and lots of concentrated fruit here as well. These wines are really big but very seductive and really balanced. Wonderful wines. The Meritaggio, excellent juice. All right, the Cabernet Sauvignon Napa 2007. This is a special release from the winery. Hey, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And we're going to get a couple cases of this. We did sell one at the dinner, so not much of this available. It's going to be priced just a little more than the current release, the 2010. A lovely bouquet of dark currant cassis berry fruit. A little bit of Cabernet Franc and a touch of Merlot in this one, but mostly Cabernet Sauvignon, dark cassis and currant berry fruit. This wine is now called the 3-acre Cabernet. Some people got confused with the nomenclature of these wines, but today this wine says 3 acres. Not a different wine. It's the same wine that was Napa. And Clone 7, Clone 8, Cabernet Sauvignon vines in this. Lovely toasty oak spice, dark cocoa, espresso notes through the finish. Really decadent juice, this 2007, and starting to mature a little bit, but this wine still has got a ways to go. Most excellent juice. You want to have this wine in your cellar 10 years from now. All right, the 2010 3-acre. We're a little bit fleshy right now, but this 2010 vintage is going to need some time. A very classic vintage, a cooler one, and these wines are going to develop really nicely with some bottle age in the cellar. Dark cherry, dark currant berry fruit, a good hint of that fresh plowed earth. You get a lot of minerality out of these wines up on Pritchard Hill. Soy, toasty oak spice, really rich and well endowed on the tongue. This wine is a little monster, but layers of that dark berry fruit, firm tannins, dark chocolate, mocha, really long and layered finish. And for how big this wine is, it's also got wonderful freshness. And you notice the label on the new vintage of Elevation 1147. This looks like Diver Down a little bit, but this is he said, we got to do something special for the 25th anniversary. And they said, David, what are we going to do? And a bottle came off the bottling line, and the tape runs out and you get like a little red line that runs through it. And he picked it up. He said, this is it, man. So, okay, genius, David. Thank you for not spending $25,000 to come up with some special anniversary label. Something simple like this really works to me. Just pass the savings along to your wine drinking people. You don't have to charge them more for the wine if you don't pay $25,000 to some label designer to create some kooky label. Anyways, the bottle's a little bit big, but the wine is killer. This 2010, the 25th vintage of this wine, a red stripe to commemorate that, and really dark and decadent black currant and cherry fruit on the nose with a hint of a lot of toasty oak spice, rather sweet balsamic notes, dark chocolate, fresh earth, a lot of that minerality that is Pritchard Hill, a really complex array of aromas lifting out of the glass here on the bouquet. Lovely, rich, dark berry fruit on the palate with ripe, round tannins. This wine's got a lot of tannins in it. This is just going to be a monster 10 years from now. Very well endowed, very rich, but very balanced. These wines are a little over the top in style, but they got great freshness and balance, which is what a wine needs to age long term. Killer juice, this 2010 Elevation 1147. Check it out, all the wines that we had to drink with David Arthur Long. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.